Hello, welcome. This is Philip Carr-Gomm. This is Tea with the Druid, number 243, brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. And here we already have many people gathered in the clearing in the forest, from Pender Island and Cardiff and Wyoming and North Germany and Michigan and Crouch End and Portugal and Holland, Devon, West Virginia. How lovely. Yeah, Western Canada and so on. So let's gather round and just take a few moments to settle. I always feel that these times together are times when we can allow ourselves to settle and relax and let go and shake off the worries of the day and of the sort of busy lives we've been having, and just really spending time together, which seems strange when we might be apart in different places all around the world. And yet there is a togetherness in this. And that's what I love about Tea with the Druid. And I think a lot of us do too, is that there is a feeling of togetherness in this. And as you do this, tune in to how you're feeling. Let yourself settle first, like a good bottle of wine, where I forgot there's a special word for it, isn't it? Something like liss or something, the stuff that settles at the bottom. Let things settle for a moment, and then just allow a word or two to bubble up, to articulate where you're at, how you're feeling, what your general tone, feeling tone is. Frazzled, says Erin. Contented and at ease, says Philippa. Needing a holiday, yes. Tired. The feeling of connection is really lovely here. Thank you. Yes, it does feel good, doesn't it? Receptive. Golden peace, that's lovely. Feeling a bit jaded this evening. We've got these lovely balances between different feelings. Golden peace, feeling jaded, tired but steady, grateful to be off but so exhausted. Down, Darren's down. Laurie, heart is feeling lighter after a healing circle. Loving the company already, Marge, that's great. Burnt out. Disheartened with others' actions. Ines has a migraine. I'm sorry, Ines. Let's hope that drifts away from you. Stressed and hassled, excited to be here. Refreshed and content. Hopeful anticipation. After so many years. Yes. Feeling grateful for the anti-war protest in Washington on Sunday. Hopeful and connected. Apprehensive. Energized. Content. Okay. Thank you for expressing that, and do please carry on expressing how you're feeling if you haven't done so yet. What I rather love is that some people who are watching the recording also express how they're feeling. They're really in the moment, and that's lovely. I think that's great. So I thought I'd share some holiday snaps with you this evening. Just a few. I've just come back from Scotland, from Edinburgh, just a few hours ago. We had a fantastic time, and we drove up to Liverpool. And what you may not know is that there's this rather interesting aspect to Druidry. Funny thing about Druidry is it's so multifaceted. It brings together so many different kinds of people. It's like all of us here. I bet you if we all gathered together, we wouldn't all be the same kind of people. We'd be like minds, like souls, but we'd all be very different people. And so Druidry is like that too. It's very rich. One of the strands in Druidry is punk. It's brought together various interesting punk people. So I was at a special punk meeting in Liverpool. Stephanie and I stayed in Liverpool for the first time. It's a great city. If you haven't been there, I was really surprised by it. It was fantastic. And there we had a meeting with the punk artist Jamie Reed, whose father was brought up by the old chief Druid, George Watson MacGregor Reed. And so his family was steeped in Druidism because his great uncle, who was in some ways acted like his grandfather, was actually the chief of the order. And Jamie Reed is well known. If you don't know him, let me show you. We went first to a place called the Florrie, which is a wonderful place in Liverpool that used to be a boys' club in the kind of Victorian times, and now is a community centre that puts on lots, that gives free meals to children as a warm place for people to go in the winter. They have all sorts of social events and initiatives and community orchestras, all sorts of wonderful things. And one of the things they have there, let me see if I can show you some pictures, is a big collage that everybody did with the artwork from Jamie Reed, the punk Druid artist, famous for his Sex Pistol album covers. And can you see it? No, you can't. Oh, how do I do that? What a shame. I've clicked on it, but you can't see it. Let me try again. Okay. Right. That's odd. I've done this before, and like all technology, there's some trick, and I've forgotten what it is. Something you have to press, something you have to do. Maybe you can see it, and I can't. Let me go into the comments and tell me if, instead of seeing my face, you are actually looking at a picture which is says "Time for Magic." Let's have a look. Plan B. It's easier to. No, I can't see it. Okay, right. Okay, well, we can't have the slideshow. What a shame. Rats. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, it's on Instagram. I put it up on Instagram if you want to see it, and maybe we can show it tomorrow, the next week or something. I'll work out how to do it. I do apologize. I'll just try one more thing. Cinema layout. No. Okay. Right. Yeah. So we went there, and anyway, what's happened? So the punk druids that I know of, there are probably many more. And if you're a punk druid, type in and reveal yourself. But we were with Jamie Reed, with his agent, John Marchant, who runs a wonderful gallery in Brighton, the John Marchant Gallery. And you can see a presentation he gave about Jamie Reed and the influences of Druidry and punk on his art, which is up on the OBOD YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure. And they are working together with Youth, another Druid, member of the order, who's in the band Killing Joke. And they're working on producing a single, new edition of the Ancestors track produced by Afro-Celts, which was created and is headed up by Simon Emerson, another punk member of the order, who has formed at least two amazing bands, Imagined Village and the Afro-Celts. And a few teas back, I had a conversation with Simon about his career and his work, which you can find. And so there's this wonderful kind of work going on of creating this piece of music and creating the artwork for it. So Jamie's images, one of the reasons I wanted to mention them is not only to just share this little detail, this little fact about the Druid world, but also to share with you a concept that Youth has talked about when we've stayed with him, and which Jamie Reed epitomizes as well, and which connects to the last tea session. You remember in the last tea, I talked about this understanding that you can't fulfill your potential. You can't fulfill your potential because it can never be fulfilled, because it's limitless. The potential and possibilities are limitless and endless, and you can express your potential. but it's limitless. It's like saying you're going to empty the well. No, the well will always have a source of water for you. So it's an incredibly liberating feeling if you take that on board. And it's another way of talking about Arwen, which is inspiration in the Druid tradition, creative energy. And Jamie expresses this really well in the fact that he's very interested in politics and radical politics, and also in music and art and Druidry. And he just produces this artwork, streams of artwork. I'll put a link to John Marchant's talk and presentation, and you'll see a lot of Jamie's artwork in that. That's the best thing to do. I'll do that. I'll put a link in, and you can see of Jamie's artwork. But what is lovely about being with him is being in the presence of somebody who's really got this business about potential and about the Arwen, and decided early on to just open the tap and let it flow. And Youth is another person like that. We were staying with him in Spain, and he's got this wonderful recording studio up in a place that he calls Space Mountain and near Granada. And when he's not producing bands in the studio, he's painting, dashing off a painting, or he's writing some poetry, or singing, or picking up his guitar. So he's constantly just being creative. And I think that's a lovely, these are lovely role models for us to aspire to. I can see lots of lovely comments coming in here. So we had a fantastic time in Liverpool with Jamie Reid and John Marchant, and then we went up to Edinburgh. Had a fantastic time in Edinburgh, and went to the National Portrait Gallery there, which is an absolute gem. Again, funnily enough, a chap called Ivor Cutler, who those of us of a certain age may remember, very unusual, unique guy. And I'll put his picture up on Instagram with his quote, I think. There was a great portrait of him. And he talked about, somebody asked about his creativity. And he said, I don't know, I just was lucky enough to just allow myself to just express whatever was going through my mind without kind of censoring it. So he's very unique and extraordinary. And then we drove back down, and we went via Lindisfarne, tried to get across to the island, but there's a causeway that floods and you can get trapped and washed away. So we decided to be sensible as the tide came in, and not drive across the causeway or even walk across the causeway to get to Lindisfarne. Carried on down to Bamburgh Castle, huge, beautiful, extraordinary castle. And then stayed the night in Ripon, tiny town in Yorkshire, but with the most beautiful cathedral, with a great Art Nouveau pulpit, which I've put up on Instagram because I've got a photograph of it, and above on the pulpit is a lovely Triskele, beautiful symbol there. So, and a few other photos. So there you go. So, I would so love to be sitting by the fire, so I wasn't the only one talking, and I could listen to you and you could tell me about some of your adventures. But let's take that theme of sitting by the fire now and allow it to be our entranceway into a meditation. So you might like to imagine that as you close your eyes, your awareness of being in front of your screen just drops away a little bit as you become aware of walking through the woods and coming to this clearing. You're just coming through the trees. There are tree trunks to either side of you as you come in. It's dark and it's cold. And you're coming to a clearing where there's a fire burning, a small fire burning in the center of a circle. And you see other people arriving in this circle too, from every direction. They're coming from north, south, east, and west, every single direction. And everyone has a certain hesitancy because this is a special place. We can feel that it's magical and special. And so we're tentative. We have that natural feeling, a bit like perhaps an animal might feel as it steps into a clearing. There's that instinctual feeling of, do we belong here? Do I belong here? Is it okay for me to be here? And then we open up, we tune into the atmosphere, and we feel that it's okay. There's a warmth here. There's a welcome here, implicit just in the air, in the atmosphere, and in the people who are gradually getting closer together. And you just allow yourself to feel a part and then gently move forward and just start to join in the circle. Just people are sitting down. You see some people are sitting on the ground. Some people are putting some blankets down and sitting on the blankets. There's some sort of logs around. You can move a log and position yourself there. Just however it feels comfortable, just come into the circle. If you're feeling a bit shy, you don't have to, you can be back a little and just kind of watch and tune in. And maybe observe how the warmth of the circle draws you in, so that perhaps finally you come to just join the circle. And you feel the warmth of the fire. And the warmth, too, of the companionship in this circle. And just to the degree that feels comfortable to you, just allow yourself to open to this warmth, just to soak it in and just let it warm your heart and soul and body. And there's something rather interesting about this warmth, which is that you don't have to grasp it. You don't have to own it. You don't have to take it. You don't even have to touch it, because actually if you reached out and touched the fire, it would burn you. So you don't need to touch the fire. You can just receive its warmth. And what joy in opening to the fact that we can just allow the warmth in without having to take it, grab it, own it, touch it, take hold of it. We don't have to do any of those things. We just let go, really. We just let go and allow and bask in that warmth. And then here's another interesting realization, that this feeling of warmth amongst us as fellow human beings, sitting in this circle together, in a similar way, we don't have to actually do anything about it. All we have to do is be open to it. We don't need to take that feeling of community or connection or warmth from the people to either side of us or around the circle. We don't have to grasp it or grab it or pull it in or possess it in any way at all. Quite the opposite. We just have to allow it in, and we don't have to allow it in. We're completely free. This is amazing. It's like we're completely free just to allow in that feeling of connection and of companionship and community to the degree that we want. So there's a lovely sense of mutual respect, of integrity here. Integrity in the sense of, the sort of root of integrity means a sort of sense of wholeness. We don't have to be fractured or split. We can just be whole and complete and open. And now within this atmosphere of companionship and warmth and of letting go and of opening up and just being together by the fire, one of the things that happens in Druid circles and in other circles too in Druid circles, at the heart of the Druid circle is this event called the Eisteddfod. It's a celebration of the arts. It's where art is welcomed into nature. So this is really interesting because there's this whole shamanic strand of Druidry and a mystic strand of Druidry, or feature of Druidry, where we're opening up to the primal, to the raw, to the essential, to the natural world. There's all of that power of nature connection. But also there's a recognition of the value and the inspiration that art can bring us and poetry can bring us. Hence the bard, hence the whole bardic tradition that sits at the heart of Druidry. And so as we sit in this circle, I'll make a bardic contribution, which is to read a poem from Rumi. Rumi is always such a wonderful poet to read in these circumstances. The mystical insights he has are just so wonderful. The guest is inside. The guest is inside you and also inside me. You know, the sprout is hidden inside the seed. We are all struggling. None of us has gone far. Let your arrogance go and look around inside. The blue sky opens out farther and farther. The daily sense of failure goes away. The damage I have done to myself fades. A million suns come forward with light when I sit firmly in that world. I hear bells ringing that no one has shaken. Inside love, there is more joy than we know of. Rain pours down, although the sky is clear of clouds. There are whole rivers of light. The universe is shot through in all parts by a single sort of love. How hard it is to feel that joy in all our four bodies. Those who hope to be reasonable about it fail. The arrogance of reason has separated us from that love. With the word reason, you already feel miles away. How lucky Kabir is that, surrounded by all this joy, he sings inside his own little boat. His poems amount to one soul meeting another. These songs are about forgetting dying and loss. They rise above both coming in and going out. Oh, and this poem isn't by Rumi, it's by Kabir, I'm so sorry. Translated by Robert Bly. How lucky Kabir is, the poet, that surrounded by all this joy, he sings inside his own little boat. His poems amount to one soul meeting another. These songs are about forgetting dying and loss. They rise above both coming in and going out. So we can sit in our own comfort, in our own center, just letting ourselves be fed by the sense of being seated in community, in circle together, in the sacred grove, the earth beneath us, the trees around us, the sky above us. And then tuning in to our own selves, feeling whole and complete inside, warmed by the light of the fire, supported by the energy here in this sacred grove. just gradually and gently, we allow our awareness of the sacred grove and of the community around us to fade, holding on to that sense of community as much as we wish, because we're still together. Gradually coming into an awareness of being seated in front of a computer or a laptop or phone, whatever it is you're looking at. And when you feel ready, you open your eyes. Oh, lovely. Thank you, David, for that quote from John Lennon, "Across the Universe," which I've added in. That's lovely. Ah, Pamela, I cried a little as I hid behind a large tree. Philip, please share the reference to the poem. Okay, I got it from a wonderful collection called Rag and Bone Shop of the Heart, a poetry anthology put together by Robert Bly, James Hillman, the neo-Jungian analyst, Robert Bly, the poet and men's work pioneer, and Michael Mead, who is a mythographer, and I don't know how else he describes himself, but an interesting figure. And they put together a whole collection of really wonderful poems, and that was by Kabir, not Rumi. I apologize for that. And yeah, and it was translated by Robert Bly. And I've forgotten what it's called now, and I've lost the page. Oh dear! But I did say it actually when I read it out. So I'm just looking at various lovely comments. Neem, visualizing a circle of our glowing, peaceful faces lit by the warm, shared energy of companionship in the golden light of the fire. I had a meditation at the beginning of the year to kind of tune in to the unfolding year, and also to sort of tune into what I should be doing, with my life, I suppose. And the predominant feeling was sitting by the fire, just coming together. We have Druid camps, and for 20 years, Stephanie and I were very involved in Druid camps. Now they continue as White Horse camps, and various groves and groups of the order put on camps as well. And one of the strongest kind of memories and values of the camps, I think, were that sitting around the fire. Every evening we'd sit around the fire. Somebody might pick up an instrument and play it. Somebody might sing. There would people with endless cups of tea being brought to beside the fire. People just sharing stories, sharing their vulnerabilities and their lives and their joys and sorrows. And so Neem's comment there is absolutely, it's a sort of fundamental feeling, and I think more and more this is what we need. And we can do it. That's why I love doing Tea with a Druid, because I know it's not the same as sitting around a fire exactly, but imagine how difficult it would be for us all 235 of us who are here at the moment to actually physically get together. We simply can't. We're all over the world, and it wouldn't be very environmentally friendly, even if we did manage it logistically. Just since it's not so fragmented now. That's lovely. So let's hang on to this, I find it inspiring, this idea that we don't have to own the fire, we don't even have to touch it, we don't even grab it, we don't have to, we just can bask in it. And I think that's a really helpful insight in this world where there's so much stress on grasping. And it's not, you see, the interesting thing is it's not a teaching about detachment. I'm not saying we detach from the fire, we detach from the circle of people around us, we separate. Not at all. Actually, what we're doing is we're getting close to the fire. We're allowing the warmth to sort of enter into us. We're becoming the warmth, and the warmth of human connection. We're just not grabbing it. We're just not holding on to it. So that's different. There's a lovely phrase, a term in the Jain tradition, aparigraha, which is non-grasping. So there you go. So have a lovely week. I can see there's lots of lovely quotes. What a wonderful means of balance. I showed up as a bear, not sure why, but no one seemed to mind. We didn't mind at all, Jules. Such a happy, smiling bear I am, grounded and filled with peace, with a warm belly from the fire. Hooray. Okay. And on that lovely note, let's finish and say goodbye and much love, many blessings, and see you all next week. I'm going to go and read all the quotes now with a cup of tea. Okay. Bye, everyone.